The mining station on Kepler 442b shook violently as another explosion rocked the facility. Katie Brooks pressed her back against the cold metal wall and listened to the screams echoing through the corridors. The Zephyrian raiders had come without warning, and now they were hunting down every human worker on the asteroid. Katie clutched her plasma cutter tightly. The tool was meant for cutting through rock. Not fighting alien pirates, but it was all she had. She could hear their chittering voices, getting closer. The universal translator in her ear made their words sound even more terrifying. Find the humans, kill them all, take everything valuable. She held her breath as heavy footsteps passed by her hiding spot in the maintenance shaft. Then she heard something different. A soft whimpering sound that was not human but not Zephyrian either. Katie crawled forward through the narrow space until she reached a grate that looked down into storage bay. 7 below her was a creature unlike anything she had ever seen. The being was tall and elegant, with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the emergency lighting. Her features were humanoid but refined, with large silver eyes and flowing white hair that moved like it was underwater. She wore what looked like expensive robes, now torn and stained with purple blood. The creature was chained to a support beam. Her wrists were bound with heavy metal shackles that looked too big for her delicate frame. She kept looking toward the door with fear in her strange, beautiful eyes. Katie realized this was not a Zephyrian. This was someone else, someone the raiders had captured. The poor being flinched every time another explosion shook the station. Without thinking, Katie pushed open the grate and dropped down into the storage bay. The alien woman looked up at her with surprise and terror. Katie held up her hands to show she meant no harm. "Hey, it's okay, I am not going to hurt you," Katie whispered. The alien tilted her head, studying Katie with those large silver eyes. She said something in a musical language that the translator could not understand. Katie pointed to herself. "Katie," she said slowly, then pointed to the alien. "What is your name?" The being seemed to understand. She touched her chest with one chained hand and spoke in that same melodic voice. The translator finally kicked in. "Lyrelai," came the mechanical voice in Katie's ear. "I am Lyrelai of the Celestial Court." "Nice to meet you, Lyrelai," Katie said, moving closer to examine the chains. "These look pretty tough, but maybe I can cut through them with this." She held up the plasma cutter. Lyrelai's eyes went wide, and she shrank back. Katie realized the alien thought she was going to hurt her. No, it's okay, this will free you, watch." Katie activated the plasma cutter and carefully began working on the first shackle. The metal was some kind of alien alloy, but the plasma beam was designed to cut through the hardest materials. After a few minutes, the first shackle fell away. Lyrelai rubbed her wrist and stared at Katie with amazement. "Why do you help me?" Lyrelai asked through the translator. "I am not of your kind." "Because it's the right thing to do," Katie said, working on the second shackle. "Nobody deserves to be chained up like this." The second shackle fell away just as they heard Zephyrian voices in the corridor outside. Katie grabbed Lyrelai's hand. "We need to get out of here. Do you know another way?" Lyrelai nodded and led Katie to a ventilation shaft on the far side of the storage bay. They crawled through the narrow space as the Zephyrians entered the room behind them. Katie could hear them chittering angrily as they discovered the broken chains. The ventilation system led them to the station's central hub. Katie knew this area well. She had worked here for 3 years, mining rare crystals from the asteroid belt. The emergency shuttle bay was just down the main corridor. "There," she whispered to Lyrelai. "If we can reach that shuttle, we can get away." But as they emerged from the ventilation shaft, they found themselves face to face with 3 Zephyrian raiders. The insect-like aliens were tall and covered in black chitin with multiple arms and glowing red compound eyes. They raised their energy weapons. "Human female," one of them chittered, "and the celestial prize, return her to us or die." Katie stepped in front of Lyrelai without hesitation. She raised her plasma cutter even though she knew it was useless against their armor. "Over my dead body," she said. "The lead." Zephyrian laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "That can be arranged." But before any of them could fire, Lyralee stepped forward. Her whole body began to glow with soft silver light. She raised her hands and spoke in that musical language. The air around them shimmered, and suddenly the three Zephyrians froze like statues. "What did you do?" Katie asked. "Temporal suspension," Lyralee said calmly. "They are trapped in slowed time. It will not last long. We must hurry." They ran toward the shuttle bay. Katie's mind was spinning. Lyralee was not just any alien. She had powers Katie had never seen before. As they reached the shuttle bay, Lyralee suddenly stopped and grabbed Katie's arm. "You saved me," she said, her silver eyes intense. "You risked your life for a stranger of another species." "Yeah, well," Katie said, feeling embarrassed. "Like I said, it's the right thing to do." Lyralee stared at her for a long moment, then did something unexpected. She pressed her forehead against Katie's. A warm, tingling sensation spread through Katie's body, and suddenly she could understand Lyralee's musical language without the translator. "By the ancient laws of my people," Lyralee said in her own voice, which was even more beautiful than Katie had imagined, "you have shown me the greatest honor. A life debt can only be repaid with a life bond. You are now my mate, Katie Brooks." "Wait, what?" Katie said, but she could feel something changing inside her. The tingling sensation was spreading through her whole body, making her feel stronger and more aware. "I have shared my essence with you," Lyralee explained. "We are bonded now. You will live as long as I do, and I will live as long as you do. We are one." Katie wanted to protest, but the Zephyrians were starting to move again. The temporal suspension was wearing off. They climbed into the shuttle, and Katie fired up the engines. Her hands moved over the controls with new confidence and skill. She had been a decent pilot before, but now she felt like she could fly anything. The shuttle lifted off just as more Zephyrians entered the bay. Energy blasts streaked past the cockpit windows as Katie piloted them out of the asteroid field. She had never flown this well before. "Is this part of the bonding thing?" she asked. "Yes," Lyralee said, sitting in the co-pilot seat. "We share knowledge and abilities now. You have my understanding of advanced technology, and I have your courage and determination." As they reached safe space, Katie finally had time to think about what had happened. She looked at Lyralee, who was watching her with those beautiful silver eyes. "So when you say mate," Katie began carefully, "I mean life partner." Lyralee said, "Among my people it is the deepest bond possible. We will be together always if you are willing." Katie thought about her life before today. She had been a simple mining worker, with no family and few friends. She had always felt like she was meant for something more. And now here was this incredible being offering her a chance at a completely different existence. The celestial court will not approve. Lyralee continued, "They believe my people should only bond with other celestials. But I care nothing for their old prejudices. You showed me what true honor looks like." "What about Earth?" Katie asked. "My home." "We can visit whenever you wish," Lyralee said, "but I hope you will come with me to see the wonders of the galaxy. There are worlds made of crystal and stars that sing. There are ancient libraries that contain the knowledge of 1,000,000 civilizations." Katie looked out at the stars stretching endlessly in all directions. She had spent her whole life dreaming of adventure, and now it was being offered to her by the most amazing person she had ever met. "Okay," she said finally. "I guess I have a new life now." Lyralee smiled and took her hand. The touch sent warmth through Katie's whole body. "Together we will see wonders beyond imagination," Lyralee said. "The universe is vast and full of mysteries, but we will face them as one." As their shuttle jumped to hyperspace, Katie realized that saving one person had changed everything. The scared mining worker was gone. In her place was someone new, someone who belonged among the stars with the most incredible mate in the galaxy. The journey was just beginning, and Katie Brooks had never been happier to be alive.